When two awakened souls meet, the experience is unlike any ordinary connection. It is not simply two people crossing paths. It is two energies recognizing each other across lifetimes. It feels less like meeting someone new and more like returning to a place you have always known but forgot existed. There is an instant familiarity, a softness in the heart, a quiet feeling that says you are safe here, you are understood here, you are home. Before a single word is spoken, something within both souls opens. They sense each other's depth, pain, strength, and truth without explanation. It is as if their souls speak a language that the mind has not yet learned. The presence of the other person feels peaceful yet powerful, calming yet awakening. Even silence feels meaningful, as if every moment holds a hidden message. This kind of recognition does not come from physical attraction or surface-level chemistry. It comes from spiritual alignment. Awakened souls carry a certain frequency, a vibration shaped by self-awareness, inner healing, and emotional clarity. When two people carrying that same frequency meet, the connection becomes magnetic, not intense in a chaotic way, but intense in a deeply grounding way. It is not a spark that burns fast. It is a steady flame that grows brighter with time. Awakened souls do not meet by accident. Their meeting happens at a point in life when both have walked through challenges, dissolved illusions, and faced versions of themselves they once feared. They have learned to love in a healthier, more conscious way. They have learned to let go of ego-driven relationships and the need for validation. Because of this inner work, they are able to recognize authenticity instantly. When they meet, there is no desire to impress, perform, or pretend. There is only presence, a natural flow, a sense of ease that feels rare in a world full of masks and expectations. The connection is felt in the heart, not forced by the mind. It arrives gently, quietly, yet leaves a profound impact. Imagine two lights that were shining softly on their own. When they come together, the brightness multiplies. Not because they depend on each other, but because they amplify one another. They bring out qualities that were dormant. They awaken parts of the soul that had been waiting for someone who understands. They do not fill each other's emptiness. They encourage each other's fullness. In this meeting, time feels different. Minutes feel like hours. Conversations feel timeless. Even a brief encounter feels significant. Both souls walk away with a sense that something important just happened, even if they cannot explain it logically. Their spirits recognize the importance long before their minds catch up. This kind of meeting breaks patterns, awakens intuition, and shifts inner landscapes. It is not dramatic or chaotic. It is calm, grounding, and deeply transformative. Two awakened souls meeting is not the beginning of a love story. It is the continuation of a soul journey that started long before this lifetime. When two awakened souls meet, the energy between them is not chaotic or overwhelming. It is steady, clear, and unmistakably harmonious. The emotional connection unfolds naturally, without fear, without confusion, and without the usual insecurities that come with most human relationships. Instead of questioning the bond, both souls feel it. They feel the openness, the safety, the purity. And because they have both traveled through their own inner darkness and healed pieces of their past, they are finally capable of meeting each other with honesty and presence. Awakened souls do not hide behind emotional walls. They do not guard their hearts with fear or play games to protect their egos. They have already learned that true strength comes from vulnerability. So when they meet someone who mirrors that same depth, their emotional connection becomes powerful yet calm. It is an intimacy built on understanding, not attachment, on truth, not fear. In their presence, emotions flow freely. They can express their joy without hesitation, their sadness without shame, and their fears without judgment. There is no need to explain themselves because they intuitively understand each other's inner worlds. One soul simply feels what the other feels. It is like recognizing a familiar rhythm, a familiar energy. There is a silent agreement that sensitivity is not weakness and emotional depth is not something to run from, it is something to honor. Awakened souls speak to each other with clarity. There is no manipulation, no fear-based communication, no attempts to control or dominate. Instead, their conversations feel refreshing, like a breath of fresh air in a world that often encourages emotional suppression. They speak with sincerity and they listen with their whole being. They listen to understand, not to respond. They listen with patience, compassion, and presence. This level of emotional awareness creates a bond that feels rare and sacred. Another unique aspect of their emotional connection is that both souls are capable of holding space, not just for each other, but with each other. Holding space means allowing the other to be fully themselves, without pressure, without fixing, without judgment. It means giving the other person room to feel, to express, to heal, and to grow. When two awakened souls hold space for one another, the emotional environment becomes deeply nurturing. It allows both to feel seen and valued in ways they may have never experienced before. There is also a profound sense of emotional safety. With most people, you worry about being misunderstood, rejected, or judged. But with another awakened soul, there is no such fear. Their intuition, empathy, and awareness create a space where honesty feels natural. You can reveal your deepest truths, your wounds, your insecurities, and still feel completely accepted. Not tolerated, not judged, not fixed, accepted. This kind of emotional connection does not drain you, it energizes you, it heals you, it expands you. You walk away feeling lighter, clearer, and more connected to yourself. It is not dependency, it is recognition. It is the feeling of being met at the level of your soul. When two awakened souls connect emotionally, they don't just form a relationship. They create a sanctuary, a space where truth flows, healing unfolds, and love awakens in its purest form. When two awakened souls meet, the connection does not remain limited to the emotional or physical level. It expands into the spiritual dimension, where something far more profound begins to unfold. This connection becomes a mirror, reflecting not only their strengths and beauty, but also their hidden wounds, their unresolved patterns, and the parts of themselves they have not yet fully understood. And instead of running from those reflections, they embrace them, because awakened souls know that growth is impossible without truth. The spiritual connection between awakened souls feels ancient. There is an unspoken sense that they have met before in previous lifetimes. Their energies blend so naturally that it becomes difficult to distinguish where one ends and the other begins. They may finish each other's thoughts, sense each other's emotions from a distance, or feel an unusual level of synchronicity that defies logic. These experiences are not coincidences. They are signs of alignment, signs that their souls are operating at the same frequency. This connection awakens something deep within both individuals. It is like a light being switched on inside their consciousness. Old beliefs begin to dissolve, new insights emerge effortlessly, and their intuition becomes sharper. In each other's presence, they evolve without requiring effort. Growth happens silently, naturally, as if guided by a higher intelligence. Awakened souls bring out each other's truth. They challenge each other gently but powerfully, not through conflict, but through clarity. If one of them is holding on to fear, the other helps them see it. If one is limiting themselves, the other encourages expansion. This is not a relationship focused on comfort. It is focused on evolution. They are not afraid to speak honestly, even if the truth is uncomfortable, because they know conscious. Truth leads to freedom, not conflict. The spiritual connection also creates a sense of timelessness. When they are together, hours can pass in what feels like minutes. When they are apart, the bond remains, silently connecting their thoughts and emotions. It does not rely on constant communication or physical presence, because the connection exists beyond the material world. They do not chase each other, because there is no fear of losing one another. Their souls remain intertwined no matter the distance. Perhaps the most extraordinary part of this spiritual meeting is the level of acceptance they hold for one another. Awakened souls see each other clearly, not as projections, not as fantasies, but as real, imperfect, evolving beings. They accept the light and the shadow. They understand that spiritual growth is not linear and that each soul carries battles unseen by the world. This acceptance creates a feeling of deep spiritual safety, something incredibly rare. Together, they form a sacred space where healing becomes natural. Emotional wounds surface to be released, karmic patterns rise to be cleared, and inner wisdom awakens more deeply. Their connection doesn't eliminate suffering, it transforms it. Pain becomes insight, shadows become understanding, and love becomes a catalyst for spiritual awakening. When two awakened souls meet, they don't just evolve individually, they rise together. They become mirrors, guides, and reflections of the highest truth within each other. It is not just a relationship, it is a spiritual journey shared by two souls who were always destined to meet. When two awakened souls meet, their connection does not stay confined to the moment. They leave a lasting impact on each other's lives. Whether they stay together for a season or a lifetime, the transformation they inspire becomes permanent. Their presence becomes a turning point, a silent shift that changes the direction of both souls forever. The influence of this meeting is subtle yet powerful, shaping how they see themselves, how they understand love, and how they walk through the world. Awakened souls do not cling to each other. They do not hold on to one another out of fear, insecurity, or emotional dependency. Instead, their connection is rooted in freedom. They allow each other space to grow, space to breathe, space to continue evolving. Their love, whether romantic, spiritual, or purely energetic, is not possessive. It is expansive. It encourages both souls to rise higher, to become more aligned with their truth, and to follow their path with clarity. This connection often inspires profound self-discovery. Being seen so deeply by another awakened soul forces them to examine parts of themselves they may have ignored or suppressed. They begin to question old beliefs, outdated habits, and emotional patterns that no longer serve them. The connection acts as a mirror, revealing both their light and their shadows with honesty. Even after the meeting, even if physical distance grows between them, the lessons remain. There is also a sense of empowerment that arises from this kind of encounter. Awakened souls help each other remember who they truly are. They remind each other of their potential, their purpose, and their inner strength. They see the soul, not the mask. They see the truth, not the fear. And that recognition can change everything. After meeting an awakened soul, you can no longer shrink yourself or pretend to be less than who you are. Their presence calls you into authenticity. Sometimes these connections last a lifetime, evolving into a deep partnership built on respect, truth, and alignment. Other times, they last only for a brief period, serving as a catalyst for transformation. But in both cases, the bond is meaningful. Awakened souls do not meet by coincidence. They meet by divine timing. The universe brings them together precisely when both are ready to take the next step in their journey. Another profound impact of this meeting is the sense of peace it leaves behind. Even if life becomes challenging, even if old patterns resurface, there is now an inner knowing that deep connection is possible, that real understanding exists, that love can be conscious, gentle, and free. This knowing becomes a guiding light, shaping how they show up in future relationships and how they choose to treat themselves. They also carry forward a sense of gratitude. Awakened souls do not forget the energy that touched them so deeply. They remember the conversations that shifted something inside them. They remember the moments of silence that felt like truth. They remember the feeling of being seen without judgment and loved without conditions. Gratitude becomes a quiet companion in their journey. In the end, when two awakened souls meet, the true gift is not the relationship itself. It is the transformation it sparks. They walk away wiser, softer, stronger, and more aligned with their higher purpose. The meeting becomes a spiritual doorway through which both souls step into a deeper, more authentic version of themselves. Their connection may be rare, but its impact lasts a lifetime.